Hey everybody, welcome to another commentary. Tim Hodge here along with...
I'm David Pitts.
And Mike Nawrocki. Hello.
Hi.
Hi, yeah, and hopefully you're not fast forwarding through the opening bit here that a lot of people tend to do.
Because there's some extra important information right here.
What it is, we have no idea yet. Anyway, we're here to talk about the show, Minnesota Cuke.
Yeah, we got some real extra important information here.
Let's see, this show started, my goodness, about a year and a half ago from its release date, when one of our executives was real excited about the computer game that came out and said, y'all ought to do a whole show based on this. And we kind of went, yeah, maybe, I don't know. That was a video game. We want to do our own stuff. And then I think Joe Spataford was the one that came up with the idea. Like, well, what if he searched for a hairbrush?
Hairbrush.
Mm-hmm. And it was a perfect idea, Larry and a hairbrush, and it kind of snowballed from there.
So we met with a couple of the interactive guys, John Reich and Darren Sumner, and kind of talked to him about the whole Minnesota Cuke thing, and then went off and developed this story.
Yeah, Mike came up with much of the outline, the whole idea of the Canadians taking over, and
as sort of as a red herring and all.
Yeah. But we'll get more into that later when the show comes.
Yeah, and the overall theme of the show too, with bullies. When we started talking about doing a show about bullies, and we had some sessions where we sat around with all the artists and we started brainstorming, and so many of us had these bully stories that we knew we were on to something.
I know, it was kind of scary. All of us artists we got beat up as kids.
So we're a bunch of nerds, and here we are.
We'll show those bullies a thing or two. We'll do a show about them.
That's right. We'll get even.
Oh, man. So just because you show you don't bully on people, because they'll make a show about you later.
That's right.
Here we go. Opening countertop. Hey, looky there. The canisters are back.
Great.
Oh, yeah. When's the last time the canisters were there?
Just a couple shows ago, but they accidentally came up missing during Duke and the Great Pie War.
I think they were being used to make a cake, weren't they?
They must have been. Yeah. Interesting thing about the letters here that I tried to put in a lot of my family members this time around. That all these names, Caleb and Whittier and Elijah and Castillo and even are nephews of mine, and even I have nephews and nieces in Broken Arrow and in San Antonio. Sweet. So this was all a whole family affair here, and I haven't told any of them yet. So the first time they hear this
will be this one
when they buy this DVD.
Will they be happy or will they be upset?
The ones that didn't get named might be, when's my turn? So I don't know.
Looks like the hole punch on that paper got set to the side a little too far.
Oh my goodness, you're right.
Oh yeah, you have to realign the hole punch.
Okay, cut, do it again. We'll fix that.
That is some nice looking paper though.
It really is.
It's a nice movement to it.
And went through the mail system very well too.
Wow, that's one busy bully. Well, it's not the same.
I like how Larry keeps giving Bob such a hard time about
the literalness of
his
words.
It's just highly improbable, statistically speaking, that one bully is bothering two kids 500 miles apart. I mean, sometimes
he's our bread and butter.
Something just means highly probable. Highly probable.
Bob, instead of talking about this, wouldn't it be a better idea to answer the question?
Oh, Bob gets caught again. Back in the corner.
You're right, Larry.
I never actually saw the writing that was on those letters. We made the prop, and we actually did put writing on the other side, but I don't know exactly
what it says.
I love these little daydream sets too. Our artist Chuck Vollmer prepared these. Got heavily influenced by comic strip styles, heavy ink lines, and we wanted to create a different look for these daydreams, to set it in a whole different world. That whole kind of Walter Mitty feel, where the story where people daydream, they're very heroic, and then lots of comic strip people do that too. Calvin and Hobbes, and then Snoopy, and everybody does that.
And people that get bullied.
And people that bully will daydream how heroic they are.
That's right.
But this story, I did want to do it.
I wonder where that gag came from.
I don't know.
Yeah, the story came. I wanted to do a little daydream plot like that, and then and struggled with a couple of outlines, and then when we came up with the whole bully theme, it fell into place and worked really well.
Yeah.
So I did a quick outline and then handed it over to Robert G. Lee to flesh it out. And did a great job making it funny.
And Brian Roberts, we had a lot of fun with him in the booth doing the recording for.
Yeah, so we pull a lot of our voices close to home, and Brian's one of our artists here. He does a lot of singing usually. This is the first real acting voice he's done.
Yeah. I think that was very appropriate to have a bully in Stonewash. There's just something about Stonewash and bully that goes together.
I got a kick.
Nice denim.
Well, I got a kick out of it when we actually started pitch shifting Brian's voice doing this. How we ended up with kind of a
strange vocalization.
I don't know if we can say it or not, but I'll try it anyway. It's very much set an Edith Bunker sort of sound to it.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah,
and you know where you walk.
And we had to go, we better turn that down a notch.
So we just kept it pretty straight.
I wonder if somebody actually scanned their pants for that jean texture.
I know, it looks
They
good.
may have.
Yeah.
Bye-bye, Junior.
And unfortunately, there's on the back of the bully's hat, there's a little frowning face, and it comes up later in one of the daydreams, but we didn't get really a chance to see it.
That picture, not that one, but the one next to Junior.
Yeah, of Princess Petunia.
Yeah, talk about that one.
That one was done by none other. There you have the clear picture of it. That is done by Mike Nawrocki, Mike's little girl.
Yeah.
Who also in this show provided
Annie's voice. So she's actually doing the voice right now. Phil Vischer's daughter, Shelby, actually was the previous voice of Annie, and she's now a teenager, which just blows my mind.
Yeah.
So
we handed the voice over.
Yeah, and her voice is lowered, and so Allie took over as the new Annie.
Oh, and the other drawing there, the one of the horse. I have to plug this. My daughter did that.
Yeah.
She was visiting one day, like, bring your daughter to work day, and I kept that drawing hanging up for a couple years and finally stuck it to show.
Yeah. Mike Ditka, there he goes. There's the coach.
Yeah, coach.
Those are really cute little pom-poms.
Aren't they?
Yep.
And you notice the fireman reference because he had a fire truck in his treehouse too. So he's daydreaming everything around except everything.
Yeah.
We did have animators ask us, if our fans were ever bothered by the fact that like the cheerleaders didn't have hands and how are they holding the pom-poms.
See, there you see the frowning
dealing with
face.
it for 12 years now.
12 years.
See the little frowny face on the opposing players' helmets on the sides.
Oh yeah, oh that's very cool.
That's on the back of the bully's hat. That's the tie.
Okay. Oh, cool. I didn't notice that before. That's very cool.
Well, we could have made it better.
I love the watercolor.
I love that.
The watercolor kind of feel of the stands and the grass and everything is
Yeah.
very, very cool.
And the voices of the cheerleaders here were provided by Sydney Trent, who did Sweet Sweet Petunia, and also David's daughter Rachel.
She had a blast.
Did they have pom-poms while they were doing it?
I don't think so, but they looked like they did.
Yeah, you kind of have to do the moves.
They were doing the moves in the
They're
booth.
ready? Okay. Just got that part out. That's the only way they could actually get it in sync.
It was actually pretty funny.
Oh, those are nice little flash bulbs.
And the voice of Laura, we got the original voice to come back.
Oh yeah, Kristen Blagan.
Kristen Blagan.
Yes.
Who was she's like doing her doctorate degree somewhere in Washington State. Is that what it is?
She flew her in from Seattle.
Yeah.
Which is only appropriate because Kristen did also the voice during the Jonah, and we were using the same costumes from
from
characters
Jonah.
wore in Jonah.
Yeah, I recognize that shirt. Now, is this scene actually from Duke? His backyard scene? Or some of the paintings used from Duke? It kind of
no,
feels
this
kind
is
of like
the same artist, but no, this is
okay.
As you remember, Duke was in the Middle Ages and this has actually modern houses.
Oh, I thought like the landscape with the grass and the trees.
No, it's just
and
similar.
Feels silly.
That's a very cool spaceship movie right
The
there.
spaceship
I
was
know.
great.
Oh, and the voice of the computer here, we didn't give him credit. That's Lisa Vischer, the voice of Junior, is also the one that rattles off all the toast. Actually, my wife actually auditioned for it and did a splendid job.
Splendid.
But then Lisa came in and read it and did an incredible job. So I had to go home that night.
Splendid was trapped by incredible.
Yeah.
It was kind of funny too. The animators weren't satisfied with the little graphics moving just a little bit. They had to actually do the
They made
analog
sure
pattern to make it look
yeah.
like a voice duplication.
Oh, that's very cool. And
Kurt's
the
theremin.
Yeah.
Finally, he got the theremin in a show.
which he had used before in Penguins, but never in VeggieTales.
Yeah,
and that sign actually looks like the Penguin sign too.
Yeah, it looks very Penguin.
Yeah. The theremin is a particular, for those of you who don't know, it's a particular instrument that the pitch is regulated by how close your hand gets to a metal rod, and that.
I think calling it an instrument is maybe a stretch.
Well, it was invented. No, it wasn't invented by Bob Moog, but he built the one that Kurt has.
It was invented by a Russian named
Theremin of all things. Yes.
Whoa, good thing they named it.
But they use it in a lot of 50s. A lot of
Yeah.
50s science fiction films have the theremin.
Kurt wants to use it in every show, I think. But I won't let him.
I want one of these backpacks. I love this costume.
Very cool. That's a cool little
that effect,
there.
right?
Yeah, that's awesome.
You see, and he thinks he's getting bigger, so he thinks, aha, I'm going to be more dangerous now.
Yep.
But no.
So he's going to be light.
Helium and static electricity, and there he goes. Bye-bye, Burley.
He's kind of glowing, too. That's cool.
Yeah, it was very fun.
Once again, Junior Spaceman saved the universe.
Oh, no, he's back.
Thought you could sneak up on me, eh?
Junior has a very
Oh, there we go. Kiss the cook.
Kiss the cook.
All right.
So, who did Junior Spaceman
Yeah, that
vanquish
was
today?
added by by Todd Carter, I think.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Far,
Yeah,
far
just-
away.
He did it on the storyboards, and it stuck. People thought it was funny.
Yeah.
You ever afraid?
Oh, you bet.
We've always known that Dad Asparagus was pretty tough, and so I think
Yeah.
we kind of get to it in the show,
Yeah.
how really tough he
Yeah,
is.
Dad hasn't been in a show for a while.
No,
has he?
it's been a
Not
while.
since Easter, I guess.
It was really fun to have Dan Anderson back in, the voice of Dad. It'd been a while since I'd seen him. Probably since Jonah, when we'd used his voice.
Yeah, well, I saw him when we did Easter Carol
Oh, okay. Okay.
and Star of Christmas.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
I've done 2 or 3 shows since then.
Yeah.
I like the grill back there too.
Now, in a minute,
That's
for
an
your
interesting
entertainment, I was asking Tim, and I got a kick out of it at the time. Watch how long in a few minutes it takes for Dad to actually walk back to the grill. See if you can figure out, where he went.
I think he's like doing some gardening with his spatula there. 'Cause,
Yeah. So there he goes. He's heading off to the grill. And let's keep watching.
Feels like he's walking away right now.
Yeah, he's. It takes him a long time, There he goes.
Okay.
Yeah, here we go.
Laura says
They
you're
come
gonna go back to
in.
the playground. Well, Are you crazy? He'll
Where-
squish you like a
Where's the shot?
See,
where
he's
did
not
Dad
there
go?
yet. He's not there yet.
He
Oh, he
noticed
disappeared,
some
yeah.
weeds
Yeah.
on the other side of the
There
car
he
box.
is.
There he is. Okay.
I like
That's
the,
why there's
the
so much
smoke
smoke
coming
back
in.
there.
And everybody asks, what do vegetables cook? I guess it's got to be burgers.
Oh, yeah. They're meat eaters.
Yeah.
They're all
And
Atkins.
people have asked me about the apples that appear.
Uh-huh.
The earlier one. So I've come up with a story that they're all just plastic apples.
They're just plastic apples.
They're not real. It's all
It's
they're all
okay to
props.
eat vegetables and fruit as long as they're not talking. That's,
That's words to live by.
yeah. Yeah.
Don't eat talking fruit.
I like the lens flare.
Yeah, that's very cool.
Come back for a second helping of pounding.
God gives me courage, not fear. Gordon!
That was a nice little camera move.
Yeah,
Looking
the guys did
cool.
a real good job on the camera moves. They added some touches, even after the layout reel. They put some extra drama here and there.
That's great.
You.
You're not
Very
helping.
inventive staff
So
we
little
have up
boy.
north.
Yes.
To make me share my playground.
Who, by the way, absolutely love the peas. Every time the
Yes.
peas are in shots, they
Okay.
they,
Oh, yeah.
they oh and ah. And,
That you're 3
Yeah,
times
Lil
bigger
P
than
hasn't been in a
no
show in a
matter what
long,
you
long
do, it's
time.
not gonna stop
Well,
you.
yeah, Leslie Benedin, who originally did the voice of Little P, he was, fireman, youth pastor. He had 3 jobs. He worked at Big Idea, he was a youth pastor, and a fireman. And I think he went off into full-time ministry / firefighting. So after that, so
Related fields, I guess.
yeah, that's right. So I had to do my best Little P impersonation.
Yeah. That was the camera move they added. That little zoom on every
Oh,
syllable.
yeah.
Worked really well.
Yeah.
Allie did a great job on this too. I thought
She really did.
It was fun coaching her in the booth, and we got to the part because I just kind of read the lines and she'd read them back to me, and we got to the part where they're cheering, and I said, "Say, yay!" and she'd say, "Yay!" I say, "We get to play again," and she'd, "We get to play again," and I'd say, "Whoop-de-doo!" and she looked at me and went, "Whoop-de-doo?"
That's a new one to me.
What's that supposed to mean? I leave it to those of us who grew up in the 20th century.
Yeah.
You know, I thought it was funny when you guys were doing the ending song, the Sherwood Glen song.
Oh, yeah.
She was trying to sing along to that, and she had never heard it before.
Oh, but she was.
And she was trying to follow it,
every
like
bit.
singing two words and
making up words as she went. Yeah.
She didn't miss a lick though. She's singing all the way through.
I like the little kid version of the bully monster.
Yeah.
And see, I like the Pete dressed as Friar Tuck with this little friar hairdo.
Yeah.
But it's weird, you put that hairdo on him, and all of a sudden he looks 40.
Yeah, just something about a receding hairline.
Not that there's anything wrong with receding hairlines.
Why would you say that?
This last little thing too wasn't part of the written show where Junior sings a little note. That was happened in the booth, and it was funny.
Lisa Vischer just singing along and getting into it. And he said, "Keep it."
I like that art card design. That's very
Paul
cool.
Conrad did that.
Very 50s.
That's the inspiration of this whole song. Very 50s. All those teen tragedy songs like "Last Kiss" and "Teen Angel" and what are the others? "Leader of the Pack."
Oh man, yeah. There's
"Teenager in Love." And "Tell Laura I Love Her."
Running Bear.
Yeah. That's really about the Pizza Angel. It's not that we're making flippant references to angels or trying to deify food. It's
just a store.
Just the lost love.
Like angel food cake. That's all it is.
Exactly.
I remember singing this song and like my head almost exploding because there's like some of these like held notes at the end, and then
you did a great job.
Well, thank you, but Kurt had it like right up. I remember trying to figure out what key I was going to sing this in, and I went in one day and he said, "Is this okay?" I said, "Okay, yeah, it's fine." And so he laid it all down, but that I hadn't heard the very end of the song.
Right,
it kept going up.
Yeah,
and
modulating.
up.
Yeah. I think I got a couple of nosebleeds that day.
That was fun.
Yeah, my son noticed that the liquid in the bottle doesn't really animate, and I had to convince. Well, it wasn't meant to be moved.
Right.
It actually looks like squeezable jelly. It's kind of like stratified.
Yeah.
I thought it was a nice gag effort.
We everybody is liking the peas here.
Oh yeah.
And those are
So much fun.
reused for those of you who do remember the little pea in Star of Christmas.
Oh yeah, that's right.
They were part of the Christmas play, and so let's use them again.
I like that little pea move there. That's awesome.
Good dancers.
I like it when Larry goes down on his knees in places throughout this. He says he's on his knees and he needs that little dip. It's pretty fun.
This whole little interlude too, when Todd storyboarded that, added some great bits of action that we just had this long bridge musically, and weren't really sure what to do with it. And then the whole leaping over the sky card. That was all Todd's invention.
It's
and
so
in fact,
cheesy.
he edited this. Usually, Todd does do the storyboards, and we'll pin them up and pitch them as usual. But he, scanned them into his computer and edited it to the music and sent it to us that way. And he made just a couple of small tweaks after that.
Yeah.
He's a talented editor, not only just story artist.
Yeah.
Oh, the sad pizza remains.
I like the little grease stains. That's nice.
Yeah, look at that.
The house number was broken, so I couldn't
And I like
find
John
it.
Troush's guitar solo we just heard too.
Oh yeah, John did a great job.
Sorry about that. You don't need to tip me or anything.
Yeah, I'm not sure I would tip him.
Yeah, I love that little Pizza Angel logo.
Thank you.
That's very cool.
I did that.
Yeah, you should. Did you copyright that?
I think I will.
Yeah, you probably should.
No, I think it already belongs to Big Idea. I don't think I have any rights to it and claim to it anymore.
For your next career.
Yeah, and the
pizza delivery.
The drawing on the wall there of Larry eating the pizza, that was, I just scanned in the storyboard drawing itself and colored it in. So that's Todd's drawing right there. I did look up on the internet too. There is no pizza company called Pizza Angel. I wanted to make sure of that.
Okay, that's good.
I'd hate to hear from a company after. Maybe they'd buy the song, though. That would have been a good thing.
Yeah.
Oh, and here's a classic mountaintop opening for action films.
Minnesota.
Minnesota Cuke calling Martin.
I love his little phone here too. It's literally amalgamated several technologies, cell phones and GPS and
I noticed
PDAs and
it doesn't look like it has a camera on it though.
That little blue thing above the screen, a little blue dot, that's the camera.
Oh, that's the camera lens? Oh,
yeah, it
okay.
doesn't take pictures out like a...
okay.
Because it's more like a video phone.
Oh, gotcha.
And if you watch it really close, the animators had a blast with a little radar tracking thing.
Yeah,
so they actually had in their minds where the characters were at the time, and they have it show up on a little map.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there's one little dot just kind of ambling me, aimlessly around. I like the footprints in the snow.
Yeah, that's actually a really nice snow texture, and the blue snow is very cool too.
Well, it's not real snow. We just use soap flakes.
Okay. That's nice.
Just like, in fact, it was the same manufacturer that did it for Wonderful Life years ago.
Oh, okay. Yeah. And that nose was donated by the U.S. Army. Isn't that a tank shell?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
And the little tune on his cell phone there, where is my hairbrush? We actually recorded that off of Kurt Heineke's cell phone. He had programmed that into his own ring.
No, his cell phone. That's awesome.
I love this giant smiley face chasing him down the mountain. I saw this thing like 40 times a day when we were doing posts, and I was still laughing at the big smiling killer snowball. Ah!
Larry hit by a giant snowball.
And nose jokes are always funny.
That's right.
There it is. Now this line was very important. We couldn't say that he was actually taking it from him or stealing it, because that's not the crime. He's not a lesson in thievery, it's a lesson in being bullied. So that finders keepers gives them a legal right.
Possession is 9/10 of the law.
The law.
Yeah.
It wasn't an illegal thing. It was just
Okay, now you remember going to do research on this Moose Lake Children's Museum?
Yes,
that was fun.
we went to
the Downers Grove Historical Society
in Illinois, just to check out what
Downers Grove, Illinois, to kind of get an idea of a small town museum, and took a lot of inspiration from it. It looks a lot like I remember it.
And if you that newspaper article.
freeze frame that. Go back and freeze frame it. You can read those articles. There's one on there about the man's car covered with ads that actually happened here in the parking lot. We sabotaged Joe Spataford's car. We went out to the parking lot and somebody put those little yellow Post-its with advertising, I don't know, some dry cleaners or something. And Chuck and I went around to all the cars and pulled out about 30 of them and put them all over Joe Spataford's car.
Sweet.
Oh, there's a picture of them there over the stairway. That is an engraving of a Rembrandt painting of Samson.
Oh, cool.
I had it at home and I scanned it in and figured that's public domain.
Yeah.
Put it in the show.
We wanted to get the whole Moose Lake connection on here too, and that whole we've got VeggieTales has a history with Moose Lake.
They have a special place in our hearts.
That's right, which is a small town actually outside of Duluth, Minnesota, and a long time ago when we did Madame Blueberry, the silly song with that was the cheeseburger song where Archie came out and told Larry that
silly songs.
Yeah, they were just way too silly. And we ended up getting a petition from this radio station in Duluth, asking for silly songs back. And one of the signatures, and it had people's actual names and where they lived. And I noticed as I was reading them, they sent me the list. One of them was from somebody in Moose Lake. And,
we've had a couple of connections with Moose Lake. They're mentioned in Jonah.
Mentioned in Jonah. That's right. Yep.
And
then of course in the other shows.
Oh yeah, the Samson story itself. We always like to get back to telling Bible stories. We do some that aren't, but we wanted the venue for telling Samson was very difficult because it's not a story with a happy ending, and there are other difficulties within telling the story. So it was fun to find a storytelling device like Minnesota Cuke where we could relay all the facts of Samson and get the Bible story told without having to delve into the unprettiness of that story.
All the violence and whatnot.
Yes. And hopefully we'll be able to find other stories to tell in a similar venue.
Yeah.
Petunia's making another appearance here as Julia. She gave it up when you what? When you what?
Lombard, Franklin, Shrek.
Does this mean we're getting ready to move to Malta?
I hope so. I would love to go, at least vacation there. Oh, and the R does stand for rhubarb. People will ask.
Julia Rhubarb.
Because she is a rhubarb.
I always knew that someday
Sydney did an absolutely fantastic performance here.
And see, that fan gets your attention. It's
It
important.
does. It's an icon in these 40s
I know,
film
but
noir
it's
films.
also important.
Well, yeah, it's a plant.
And we're doing that in Esther with the ceiling fan as
Yeah,
well.
but that ceiling fan didn't fall down and threaten someone's life. Oh, you're giving it away. Oh, they've seen it before already, I hope.
So is that ice cream in there or colored mayonnaise? I was looking at the.
It's mashed potatoes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, actually.
It's a special.
And I love it. Notice a little heart back there, too.
Oh yeah, a little heart chair.
It kind of adds to the theme of the scene here.
Yeah.
There's that tension. There's been a relationship here. We don't know what it was. Other fun pictures on the walls here too. I have a picture of Lutfi over there. You can see the Larry symbol.
You also have records on the wall.
There are lots
What are records?
Kids will never know. There's another picture of Samson carrying away the gates of the city over there.
Oh, okay. Very cool.
That was originally supposed to go in the caverns later, but we ran out of room for it. And on the other side of the wall, there's also their first lira that she
I
made.
didn't order it for me.
And we definitely tried to find these film noir camera angles here too, going back to
Oh,
old
and
films
this-
like Maltese Falcon.
And the bell there is
The
your bell.
I had a little bell I've had on my shelf at home, bookshelf at home for years, and we brought it in as a temporary sound effect. And our sound effects guy in Canada liked it so much,
Yeah.
he asked me to bring it up.
Now, every freezer has
A melt setting, and I like the sign on the door says "Keep cold," just in case.
Just remember, don't forget, kids, don't
Yeah.
turn your refrigerator to melt.
That's right.
And this is a great place to put in some of the subtler parts of the Samson story, because Samson did have to take the Nazarite vow, which you couldn't cut your hair, just like John the Baptist. You couldn't eat certain foods or do things. And
Touch dead things.
Yeah, so I kind of rattled off a few, kind of a grocery list here of what the Nazarite vow was. And hopefully kids will ask their parents, what's that all about? And
Right. Yeah.
you can go to the Bible and figure it all out. I would like to go to Malta. I hope it looks like that. We looked at a few pictures of it.
Now we've melted. There is so much ice cream in that freezer.
It's all strawberry.
It half fills up the.
Ice cream expands when it melts. Actually.
It must.
I guess it
It's
does.
kind of the opposite of water.
It's very frothy.
Yeah.
I showed this to my son the other day, and after this whole scene was over, he just kind of gave me this sly look like, yeah, right.
Right, Dad.
Of course, he's 13. He knows this is... Oh, on the wall, too. I forgot to point out our award from the Chicago Children's Film Festival. The one
Oh, really? For belly button?
The belly button song.
Oh,
we
yeah.
did.
I didn't notice
Yeah,
that one.
our first place award got sweet. Put that on the wall in there.
Awesome.
Oh, and there's a poster on the wall behind her here on the building. We'll cut to it in just a second. You can barely read it. It says Lost Falcon. Get in there in Malta.
Yeah, with Maltese Falcon.
The Maltese Falcon. And the Barbershop of Seville.
All right, now here back on the back wall, you'll notice a painting back there. This is funny. This is Tim on the left, and
the
I'm
barber
on the
chair.
right in the barber chair, and all of our crew around behind us cutting my hair. And I hope they do a better job with mine than they did with
They didn't need to
yours.
spend much time on mine. Okay, and some of you are asking, too, I know, why are the two Italian barbers in Spain?
Right.
Well, it's an interesting
Can you
story.
explain that to us, Tim, please?
People immigrate to Spain every day.
That's
don't
what we ended up with. But we started off writing this story about the barber, the brush, and said, well, I've got to go to the barbershop of Seville. That will be funny. It's a good gag. So I thought, okay. So and also in the mall where we were in Lombard, there was a barber shop upstairs that had a bunch of Italian barbers, and they spent most of the day just yelling at each other.
Yep.
So that
very
was the
much like
inspiration.
this.
Let's get some Italian barbers in here in the barbershop of Seville.
I've actually
and
had-
the Barber of Seville opera was in Italian. So I have always thought for years and years that Seville was a town in Italy. So I wrote it that way. And then when we got ready to do the map and the artwork, I was looking all over the map like, where's Seville? Where's Seville? And then finally my eyes drifted over to the left and like, oh my goodness, I'm on the wrong country. So we
Nothing
have...
like research.
No. Well, even if I'd known that, I still would have made them Italian. So they immigrated.
Yeah, and then you're one of these guys, right?
Yes,
and then
I
Joe
am-
Spataford is the other.
That one, I can't remember what Leo or Figaro who's who, but yeah, Joe Spataford's one barber and I'm the other. And my wife, whose father was Italian, complimented Joe's and mine, but she said, "Joe, you did a great job. Sounded just like my dad."
Joe Spataford is the one with the unibrow.
Okay,
yeah.
Joe Spataford.
And Joe is actually Italian too, so.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
Earlier on when they were arguing underneath, while Julia and Cuke were talking, one of them says, "Ma, sti cioli bambino forcucci," Forcucci is my wife's maiden name, so I threw that in. And Mia Piccola Farfalla is some bad Italian for my little butterfly.
Those colors on their ties look like the Italian.
Yeah.
You noticed that? Yeah, that is the Italian flag.
Yeah.
Oh, and the street, their address, the 206 is Via de Cortes de Pelo. 206 was our address in Lombard. It's the studio. And Via de Cortes de Pelo is very poor Spanish for Street of the Haircutters. I love his hairdo.
Yeah, I do too.
And we had to throw in a Figaro gag here.
Yeah.
I like the picture. Oh yeah, the picture. I don't know if you can see it. The picture up there, the little tigers and the umbrellas. That's a painting I did for a friend to put on our nursery wall. And I was running out of things to frame, so I stuck that on there too.
Quick, throw this in there.
We have pictures of. Let's see, we have Blind Lemon on one wall, and I think the poodle from that is also framed. Get very inventive when you're trying to put things in set dressing. I love the street too. I just love the little.
And he's after the brush. Professor Rattan.
Oh, okay. Now don't panic, Minnesota. Remember, he's a bully. We can deal with him.
Just a bully. He's more than that.
And if you notice the building here is is a set piece. It's built, but the buildings in the background of the sky, that's all just a flat painted. So we didn't have to build all Seville, just a couple of buildings and then paint it. Yeah, those buildings back there are not real.
I like Bob's quilted chiffon texture on the phone. That's very nice.
When we were making this
It's like
show,
a throw pillow.
when we were animating the shot to the barber pole there, we had some proofs come back, and it was really funny because the barber pole was like turning in microscopically slow
Yeah,
speed. It was just
every
like
shot just got slow.
barely moving. It was so funny looking.
I love the convenience of this.
Isn't that great? Who needs a map?
We have a shortcut.
Should have added a flush sound effect right there. That'd have been good.
Yeah.
You can do that on your own, kids. Quick, run to the bathroom and flush at that point.
This is really beautiful, scary and pretty.
This was a fun set to design.
Yeah, coming
Chuck
up
did a
here,
great
he's
job.
gonna tell me about what he shines on the wall.
Yeah,
up
so
here.
here's a little gag here. That's not just any wine cup. That is the
Story of Samson.
The wine
Holy
cup.
Grail.
the Holy Grail. Yeah.
So this is showing them the way. It's down here somewhere in these catacombs also.
And Chuck did these paintings. I think the great little
Yeah. Almost like
frescoes.
They
Hairbrush.
look just like the ones in the park earlier.
That's the connection. My favorite shot. This is my favorite shot in the whole show.
Yeah, it's very, very cool.
It just keeps going and going and going. And the little
Like
bubble.
a little sanitary fluid there.
Yeah. And what's an action film without a rope bridge?
With a
breaking plank.
with a breaking
Worms!
Why do you have to be worms?
How big are those worms anyway?
That's all special effects. They just put them close to the camera.
It's like the
real
Lord of
worms
the
either.
Rings, when they had that one
forced
close up of the
perspective.
ring. That four-foot
Actually, didn't we
ring.
use real gummy worms?
Actually, I'm sure we did.
Congratulations, Mr. Cuke.
Professor
The
Rattan.
shadows.
Make this simple.
See, he had the map.
Please.
He got down there. He didn't have to go the same way.
Why would I do that? I have the brush. I have the
There's a lot of very subtle logic in this, but not much. About where everybody. Well, yeah, in writing this, you did have to figure where everyone was, even though we didn't show it. We just had to make
Well,
sure
you
it was
always
possible.
do the Emperor's New Groove thing,
Yeah.
Like, that doesn't make any sense.
Oh well.
You're right.
Rattan. I won't give it to you or the Canadians or anybody. It's mine.
Now we use Canadians not because we
Yeah.
dislike Canadians, but because we
We like Canadians.
we the Canadian crews work on the shows, and we pay homage to our guys, and we put pictures of us in the shows and things like that. This was a great way to get them into the show with us.
Yes,
great.
and I have relatives in Canada too, which is really nice for the company to pay my trip up there to,
see your
do work,
relatives.
and then while I'm there, I can drive up and see them too. So we do love Canadians.
So even though it kind of like we make them out like they're the bad guys at first,
Almost.
it's really not true.
Yeah,
Well, and they're
We
it's
vindicated.
It
it's
was a
red
ruse.
herring.
It was a
Yeah.
whole ruse.
Yeah.
Now, I was wondering when we were making it why they didn't go ahead and try to climb the bridge there. They just stood there.
Well,
I don't know.
Okay.
They're
hindsight is
petrified in
2020.
fear.
I stumped you on that one, huh?
And did you, just in case anybody didn't catch it, the scallion there was listening when Cuke gave Bob the address of the barbershop. That's how Rattan made it there first.
Right.
Because he's a bully, Jules. I gotta get even with him. Why, if it's the last thing I do, I'll track him down and
Do you ever feel that way, like you wanted to get even with, and you feel justified? Well, they were mean to me first.
Yeah, I felt like that.
I don't like that in you, Cuke. You're nothing but a bully.
Julia, I'm sorry.
This is a great emotional moment here too, with the next shot when he turns around and he's caught between his lost past and lost future. He's kind of at his wit's end, and the truth hits home. Wham! And see, that was another thing I kind of wrote out of it, but it was there that he couldn't. He was one of the earlier drafts. He was trying to call Bob or Martin while he was in the tunnels and couldn't get any connection. But this, since there's a hole in the roof, that's probably some manhole in the streets of Seville somewhere. That's the way he's able to get reception now. You see, and that's why he couldn't call him. I couldn't get a hold of him till now.
The Bible said that God gave Samson his power, not his
So this was kind of, when we were doing this too, because, Larry Boy, his superhero character is kind of like a, the anti-superhero, that doesn't really do superhero things, even though he pretends to be a superhero.
Right.
But in this thing, he's actually a bona fide action hero.
Yes, he actually. Oh, I love. See, and there's some cutting the time here. They built that out of the bridge in case you didn't catch that.
Shot themselves.
And I'm glad the Rattan left the door open. That would have hurt.
The end, right there. Short ending.
Smarted.
And I'm not sure exactly why Rattan went this way instead of the way he had the map. But I needed the climax in a location I already had. So we had to do it back in the barbershop. And the Canadians show up! Oh, and that is the Canadian national anthem there. It's playing behind them. For all you Americans who are watching, I'm sure your friends in the
Hopefully
Great
that's
White
public
North.
domain, right?
Yes.
That's good. I wonder if some of the power of the brush leached out into the sterile barber fluid.
I bet it did. So
Yeah, like some really powerful fluid.
yeah.
And we did have the one big gap in logic about why the Canadian Mounties have jurisdiction in Spain.
Well, maybe they have like a passport agency there. It's kind of like when you're going through customs,
Maybe there's an extradition treaty between the two countries. I don't know.
Right. Well, and I like the way in a minute when Cuke basically tells them they don't need to arrest him, that they just immediately and they walk off. That's just why.
All right, we're going back to Canada
Okay,
now.
we're going home.
And usually Mounties are on horseback, but I guess they left those tied up outside. Oh, I don't know. Didn't know if you noticed the painting that's behind Cuke there. Not that one on that wall, but on the other wall, the cornucopia. That we used that originally in Little Joe. It was hanging over the pizza in the pizza palace over the slushy bar.
Mr. Lunt with the comb over, that is really, really cool.
Yeah.
Gotta love the comb over.
Yeah. The little thing at the corner of his head there.
Professor Rattan let you keep the hairbrush after all.
Well, he didn't need it since
I'm
he
curious
gave us
what
that
other
whole
things are going to
world
get in their
domination
museum
thing.
later.
I'm just glad it all worked out.
Adam's apple. Oh, and the painting on the wall back there is from Duke and the Pie War. That was one of the background paintings.
Oh, yeah.
Moose Lake Children's Museum. Yes? What? It is? Sounds dangerous. Well, let me ask him.
So he's got this high technology cordless PDA GPS thing, but still has an old fashioned
Rotary
from the
phone.
40s.
I miss a wall phone.
Yay!
Wow, that sure was fun.
Yeah, and exciting.
I hope you liked it too.
And it goes by so fast.
It does.
And Eli.
Well, and here comes
I think he prefers to be called Elijah.
Cordy, the What Have We Learned song that's coming up is the first time it's been used in a long time in its original
Yeah, because the
version.
last show we had Larry's brothers sing it.
Right.
Before that we had the Gilbert and Sullivan chorus.
The sumo chorus sing it. Yeah, yeah.
I was starting to think that that we were never going to do it again, and
Its
that we
original
were going to
version.
recompose and rewrite a song for each show. And I finally went,
I do like it.
no, we can't do that for every show.
Yeah, it was the country western version on Little Joe.
Right.
That's right.
So-
That's right.
You
Yeah.
can't do anything to change
But we're going to get back.
But I don't know if that makes difference to most of our viewers who may not be watching these in order anyway.
That's right. They don't know. Sometimes.
Which brings a question. We said at the beginning, Larry said Bob always gets a letter. Is there an actual case where Larry's ever gotten a letter before? I couldn't remember one.
I can't remember either.
So I hope we're accurate
in
writing that.
So if you can, if you know of a time when Larry's had a letter before, you can send us a note.
Please let us know. Please write Larry a letter.
Which just goes to show you,
God made you special.
and he loves you very much.
Well, it's time to go now. See you next time. Goodbye.
Bye. But that's not all, folks. John Troush, who did the guitar solo, did these credits for us.
Very
Designed
cool
them.
looking.
Just did a great job.
And then, of course, Kurt on the score just did a wonderful job with action adventure score. There he is.
Yeah.
Mr.
Did it in record time. We keep giving him shorter and shorter deadlines. We've got to stop that.
Oh, there's that little P credit.
Yeah, the first time you've done him.
That's right.
Let's see who else. Mike Nawrocki did her Annie debut.
Yep.
And the return of Sydney for Julia. And the first.
Wait, it's coming up here.
It is?
Visual development. And then here's Chris Wall, our brand new editor, brand spanking new right out of the box.
His first editorial job for us. Did a great job. My first time working with him.
It was also the first show that Paragon Studios did our audio.
That's
recording.
right. That's correct.
Right. And in fact, it was the first time that they'd seen the show with us, and they, we'll talk about Colin in a second. But it was the first time they'd ever done a show with us, and we went in and recorded it, and we recorded in all kinds of miscellaneous order with the characters, and they didn't know what was going on. It was so confusing for them. And so they got to see it and watch it finished with us the other day, and it was so exciting. For
Right there at the top of the screen, Paul Cahoot, Cahoot.
There's Moose Lake.
Yeah, Moose Lake, Minnesota. Paul was actually worked on a film that was nominated for an Academy Award this year. One of the animated shorts. We were doing this recording a few days before the Oscars, so I don't know if he won or not.
And in this show, Colin Davis, had to run the crew mostly by himself throughout this whole production.
The Canadian crew.
The Canadian crew, and he just did a fabulous job. It's his first time to run that crew by himself, and I just wanted to say thank you. He did a marvelous job. The show came out great.
Yes. We love all our Canadian crew. They did a great job on this.
We keep going further and further south.
That's right.
I know. I love the way the states.
The cobweb on the ocean.
I love the way
This
states
giant
just kind of like Illinois is kind of floating somewhere in the South.
There's
Lyle's
boat
little
right
boat.
there. That's nice. Our longitudinal lines are getting closer.
And there's the island of Tennessee.
Right.
Tic-tac-toe. It must be a pirate's thing. Oh, and Antarctica, of course.
And our 321 Penguins crew.
And there they are.
Well, thanks for watching, everybody.
Yeah, thank you. I hope you enjoyed the show.
Oh, of course they enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I just hope you enjoy it again and tell all your friends. And the A-pop.
Oh, there's your bell.
There it is.
There it is. Okay, sorry.
Little
It's kind of low.
bell.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.